Now time for our penultimate pre-final of the opening round of the season. It's time for Senior Rotax. Here is your starting grid. So on the front row, it's Tommy van der Stoys versus Mark Kimber, Sean Butcher and Kai Hillertz, row number 2. Jaden Teen and Matthew Higgins, row 3. Row 4, it's Austin Lee and Lewis Gilbert. Lachlan Robinson and Vic Stevens complete the top 10. And it's Devian Horst, Miska Kaskinen, Archie Walker, Ethan Jeff Hall, Farhan Mega, Frederick Sebis Christensen, Arthur Robin, Nolan Lemaray, Caden McQueen, Elia Papasena, who complete the top 20. Completing the top 30 positions on the grid are Zomber Kovac, Mika Barthélemy, Colin Vajny, Kai Hunter, Mario Sidler, Dion van Verven, Sam Bergstein, Paul Forquemin, Petra Babichkova and Mitch Haynert. And qualifying through the second chance heat earlier on this morning, Maxence Bouvier, Leon Zelenko, Jaden Pope, William Haugstrand, Christoph Saller and Sebastian Bach. So from 76 drivers, we now have reduced the field to 36. 10, unfortunately, not making it through to today's second chance heat. And a further 30 were thereby having their weekend called time on. Van der Stoys and Kimber, youth versus experience on the front row. We're going to have a 14-minute plus an additional lap race. Revs rise. Are we ready? Are we steady? Senior Rotax pre-final is go. Good start by the pole sitter, Van der Stoys. Butcher looking to get up the inside very early. As we've had multiple incidents. Dion van Verven involved. I've also just seen the 345. And that was Devian Horst, who started pretty much just outside of the top 15, as we've got a very, very slow kart from Dams Racing. Didn't quite catch the number. There's a lot of drivers making their way through into turn 7. Looks like someone might have a bit of a noisy exhaust. There is a JJ Racing kart. There is a noisy... I think I can hear a noisy exhaust out there. Not sure where it's coming from. And there is... Oh, hang on a minute. Do not... Now, who is that coming through? That is possibly Kai Hunter, I just spotted. Well, Kai Hunter's just... well, he's up to speed. Someone was very, very slow coming down the run through from turns 9 to 10, but Van der Stoys leads. Second, it's Butcher. Third, it's Kimber. And now Butcher goes for the lead through turn 2 on the start of lap 2, and he's got through, got the job done. Kimber's got through. There's Austin Lee behind Tommy van der Stoys. Matthew Higgins now up to 5th. Jaden Teen rounds out the top 6. Arthur Horbat and Archie Walker round out the top 8. And, yeah, Miska Kaskinen was the driver going slowly, the 343 from Finland. A 385 from Finland. The 343 of Fahin Mega is way back away from everybody else. And there's been a drama between Austin Lee and Matthew Higgins coming out of turn number 8. And having to avoid there was the 357 of Christoph Saller. And now it's a straight-out dogfight for the top 3. Butcher versus Kimber as Jaden and Tommy van der Stoys as Jaden Teen goes up the inside of Arthur Robin to take back 4th position. Butcher leads, but not by much, just over 1/10 of a second after the opening 2 laps. And there is an absolute swarm of senior Rotaxes making their way through as someone else, well, that's more than likely, that was 914 going off the circuit. Mika Barthélemy, who was running 11th at that point. Oh, very, very wide there from Arthur Robin, and that allows the 329 of Lewis Gilbert to get through. Kai Rilitz is in 8th at the moment. We've got yellow flags at Marshall Post 2 again. But Butcher, Kimber and Van der Stroys have kept themselves up front. Looks like there was a 3-wide exchange coming through into turn number 10. And leading that now is Lewis Gilbert. Zsombor Kovac has gotten ahead of Kai Rilitz. In between them, they've got Archie Walker. Reese Hunter is there. Lachlan Robinson, I've just spotted, is outside of the top 10. So just over 3 minutes completed of this 14-minute plus an additional lap race. And there's drama. That is Kai Hunter and Archie Walker coming together on the outskirts of turn number 3. Both of them drop from what was 6th and 7th respectively. The dramas keep on coming here in senior Rotax in the pre-final. So Miska Kaskinen out. Vic Stevens, the 369 from Dams Racing, now down into 35th position. And now there has been a change. Tommy van der Stroys now up into 2nd position ahead of Mark Kimber. 4th is Jaden Teen, and he's catching the 3-time Grand Finals champion down, catching him up. And now in 5th position, that is Lewis Gilbert. Kai Rilitz now in 6th. Zsombor Kovac in 6th. Caden McQueen up to 7th. Arthur Robin, Elia Papasena and Kai Rilitz now round out the top 10. Colin Vajny, Sebastian Bach, Lachlan Robinson, Mika Barthélemy and Mitch Haynett round out the top 15. Barthélemy had a bit of a scare and he's recovered. So Miska Kaskinen out, Vic Stevens now out of this race. And despite everything that's been going on, we still have 34 drivers running. It's Jaden Teen now putting the pressure on Mark Kimber. Through into turn number 12 they go. Lewis Gilbert, the pride of Scotland, hunting them down as well. Frederick Zevis Christensen down in 25th position, has set the fastest lap of the race, but now it's Gilbert's time to shine. But then it's Elia Papasena in 9th, 54.384. The pace is increasing. The adhesion is coming to the track. The grip levels will increase. So top 10 covered by 6.7 seconds. But Sean Butcher now has a 1.1 second lead over the Netherlands' Tommy van der Stroy. 6 years difference in age between the driver that is leading the way and the driver that took the ranking after heats lead after yesterday's heats. Jaden Teen now senses an opportunity. So does Lewis Gilbert. Out of the final corner. 2nd to 5th, covered by just under 7/10. It's nearly 3 wide. A little bit further back with Papasena involved in all of that. And he was in the middle of Caden McQueen, who's actually got in front of him. And Caden McQueen now up into what is 7th position. Elia Papasena in 8th. Arthur Robin in 9th now. Austin Lee is now in 27th. Seeing where Matthew Higgins is. He's had a better time because he was actually on the asphalt when the incident happened with Austin Lee. Currently 20th. Archie Walker 29th. Kai Hunter 26th. That's how quickly your race can change with an incident. As Lachlan Robinson closing in on Mika Barthélemy. There is the 906. That's Maxence Bouvier. Maxence Bouvier has made his way halfway through the field. As Kimber has now got back past Jaden Teen Lewis Gilbert, hard on the brakes, late on the brakes, through on the inside of turn number 6 on Jaden Teen. And that is for 4th position. Sean Butcher eking out a very, very slight advantage to the tune of 1.2 seconds. So we've got a black and white warning flag going out to William Haugstrand in 19th position. He's just ahead of Fredrik Zevis Christensen. Just under 6.5 minutes to go. Still all to play for in this pre-final. Katie McQueen has dropped to 10th place behind Elia Papasena. Kai Rillet's now past Arthur Robin for 8th place, with the Frenchman in 9th. McQueen down to 10th. Vajdi, Bach, Barthélemy, Robinson and Devian Horst. As Katie McQueen now trying to get back at those in front, and he's ahead of Colin Vajdi. He was trying to go side by side with Arthur Robin, and he's got through. And now Lewis Gilbert gets past Jaden Teen for 4th place. Front fairing looks a little bit wobbly on the front of Lewis Gilbert's car. It says, oh, drama's there for the 913, and that is Katie McQueen. Katie McQueen, that was coming out of turn number 9. I'm not too sure it was someone trying to do a bit of a late lunge and collected the 913 from Milton Keynes in the United Kingdom. Zsombor Kovac's final heat yesterday had a chat with team boss Kilian Kraft that Zombor's chain actually fell off on the opening lap. But now he's punching at the weight we normally respectfully see him at in at least the top 6, and then maybe sometimes beyond that. Kai Rillet's is about just over a second adrift, but will be catching. And that's just over a second adrift of 7th place at the moment, with Elia Papasena occupying that position, being driver coach this weekend by Bas Lammers. See some very different driving styles. Mark Kimber tends to lean in the corners, certain corners a little bit more than the others. To try and shift the balance of weight transfer, just to help carry the momentum through the corners. You can see he leans from side to side. Good move there from Zsombor Kovac on Jaden Teen. That's the Hungarian, now up into 5th place. So 10 minutes down, 4 to go. And Van der Stroy's back past Kimber for 2nd position. But Butcher is comfortably ahead. 1.6 seconds was the distance between 1st and 2nd last time round. Could we be getting closer to that 2-second mark? 1.665. Matthew Higgins has just set the fastest lap on lap number 10 of a 54.089. Higgins at the moment has now resurged his way up to 12th position. As there is Kimber up the inside of Van der Stroy's, through into 2nd position. And Gilbert gets through for P3 at turn 7. And now that is Jaden Thien that has just got through on Zsombor Kovac, has retaken that 5th place. Elia Papasena has now joined them. So this is a 6-kart battle for what is 2nd position. As a lunge up the inside of Jaden Thien through the final corner by Zsombor Kovac. And Elia Papasena gets through, gets a rubbing of sidewalls with Zsombor Kovac, but still the Italian holds his ground. And just behind them, I spot Kai Rillet's in the 374 has now joined that train. So you've got 2 drivers from Kraft Motorsport behind RR Racing's Jaden Teen. Kovac gets through on the 380. Jaden Teen says, come on, man, don't start doing that, as Gilbert launches it up the inside of Kimber. That allows both Gilbert and Van der Stroy's to get through. Elia Papasena now waiting to get his way past the 302 from Birmingham. 12 minutes down, 2 to go, plus an additional lap. Butcher's coming out of the final corner. His lead was nearly 2.5 seconds, but that is going to increase further still. Lewis Gilbert now in second position. Third is Tommy van der Stroys. Mark Kimber down to fourth. Elia Papacena, Jaden Teen. Kai Hilets now ahead of Zombor Kovac in seventh and eighth respectively. Mika Barthélemy and Matthew Higgins have been battling away, and I think, yep, Higgins now up into ninth. Higgins has started to make a bit of a comeback in the latter half of this race. Austin Lee now one step away from heading back into the top 20. Leon Zelenko 13th, Fredrik Zebis Christensen 14th, with Colin Vajny rounding out the top 15 drivers. As Jaden Teen was looking up the inside of Elia Papacena through into turn 10. He had to think about it and then decide otherwise, because Kai Hilets might have looked for a move up the inside there as well. And still, Lewis Gilbert unable to pull away. Well, he is slightly pulling away from Mark Kimber, but he's got Tommy van der Stroys right with him, going through into turn number 6. Looks like we are going to be on our penultimate lap, lap number 15 out of 16, as a bit of a skirmish between the likes of Arthur Robin, Lachlan Robinson, and we've also got the 3:51 of Leon Zelenko. Gilbert still leading that train for second, as Butcher now will make his way very shortly out of turn number 11, and he sprints his way down to turn 12. Gap now nearly 4 seconds, and it's going to exceed 4 seconds as we will head on to our penultimate lap of this race with 2 seconds remaining. Time has now expired. 4.1 seconds is the lead of the race between first and second position, as now it all changes again. Kimber was trying to go around the outside of Van der Stroys. Papacena has got through on Gilbert, who dropped all the way from second, courtesy of Van der Stroys launching it up on the inside through into turn 2. And now Hilets has a real opportunity for getting second himself. He's got this and one more lap to go. As a little bit of a catch between Gilbert and Papacena. And Papacena spins around 180 degrees, rejoins. And that has allowed Kai Hilets to end up into 4th position as a direct correlation. Jaden Teen battling away with Zombor Kovac, who was a little bit late on the brakes coming into turn number 10. Last lap underway for the senior Rotax pre-final. Sean Butcher not having to worry about anything that's transpiring behind him, as the gap now between him and Tommy van der Stroys is nearly 5.3 seconds. Van der Stroys second, Kimber third, Hilets now up into 4th. Jaden Teen holding on to 5th at the moment, and they all have started to pull away from Zombor Kovac. Matthew Higgins, in the meantime, now up into 7th, as Lewis Gilbert has dropped down to 8th place. Leader making his way through the exit of turn number 8, as this quartet battle over second position. This is very crucial because it's for the front row on the final later on, and that will take place at 3:15 local time. Jaden Teen also trying to get past Hilets in the dying stages of the race. But Sean Butcher, calm and cool, and wins the pre-final. The 3:01 from London, looking good for this afternoon's festivities. Tommy van der Stroys will again provisionally line up on the front row. Mark Kimber, Kai Hilets, Jaden Teen, Zombor Kovac, Matthew Higgins, Mika Barthélemy, Lewis Gilbert and Elia Papacena round out the top 10. Fastest lap of the race, Matthew Higgins, 54.089. 11th was Arthur Robin, Fredrik Zebis Christensen, Leon Zelenko, Sebastian Bach, Kai Hunter, Lachlan Robinson, Devian Horst, Maxence Bouvier, Paul Fauquemin and Colin Vajny round out the top 20. Austin Lee, Mitch Haynert, Archie Walker, William Helgstrand, Nolan Emery, Caden McQueen, Ethan Jeff Hall, Dion van Verven, Farin Mega, Sam Bergstein, Mario Sidler, Petra Babichkova, Jaden Pope and Christoph Sala rounding out the 34 drivers that completed all 17 laps of racing. On lap 2 we lost Vic Stevens, and on the opening lap we lost Miska Kaskinen from Finland. Capacity grid of 36 senior Rotax drivers had made it to this final stage of the competition, with one more race, putting them into the possible best position going into this afternoon's final. The revs rose, the lights went out, and we went racing. It was a good start from Tommy van der Soys as he led the field into turns 1 and 2. Sean Butcher, Jaden Teen were trying to make their presence felt early. There's a little bit of a bump initiated, and I saw the fact that Lachlan Robinson was hit from behind courtesy of Devian Horst and a few other drivers, including the 902 and 377, so the likes of Dion van Werven and a few others coming into strife early in the first corner. And then there was another melee coming out of the corner with the likes of Sam Bergstein, the 343 of Farin Mega, and also Mario Sidler to boot. More dramas between two teammates as Matthew Higgins and Austin Lee were side by side and collected each other going through out of turn number 8. This moment here involved both Archie Walker, whose front axle was up in the air as he was backwards, and Kai Hunter, unable to avoid what transpired. Further up the field, the battling was fast and it was cleanly done, with the likes of Jaden Teen battling away with 3-time Rotax Grand Finals champion Mark Kimber. Lewis Gilbert also showcased his prowess for the majority of the race itself, getting past Jaden Teen at one point through turn number 6. This moment here was a contact between Arthur Robin, who bumped into the back of Caden McQueen coming out of turn number 9, with the British driver having to wait for quite a few drivers to get past. Positions would change between the likes of Van der Sloys and Kimber, as Lewis Gilbert also was factoring in to try and go for second, as Butcher had clearly gone off into the distance. Zsombor Kovac was also in the mix, along with Jaden Teen, with a few other drivers, including the likes of Kai Gillets joining in, Elia Papacena also closing in, as it was nearly a 3-1 exchange between Van der Sloys, Teen and Kovac. Kovac is, in his own rights, would make some great overtaking, especially this one, through on Jaden Teen, but that opened the door for Elia Papacena to get past the pair of them, with a little bit of sidewall rubbing between Papacena and Kovac. Van der Sloys was determined to keep himself on the front row for this afternoon's final, getting past Lewis Gilbert, but then losing out to Mark Kimber initially going through into turn 3, with the youngster from the Netherlands managing to stay ahead of the 302 from Strawberry Racing. Papacena would also then make his move until this moment, when the two bumpers, front and rear, of Lewis Gilbert and Elia Papacena caught on each other, and both of them were out of the running for P2. But Sean Butcher, winning by a comfortable mile in front of the rest of the opposition, provisionally books his place on pole position. Ranking after heats leader, Tommy van der Sloys took second, nearly 6.5 seconds behind, with Mark Kimber, Kai Gillets and Jaden Teen rounding out